medical cannabis breeding with high CBD strains to be extracted to be used for specified medications for specific patients. And this is the future of medical cannabis. There's a very definite line being drawn in the sand. There was a couple of mistakes that we've been making. One was, a lot of the anti-inflammatory effects attributed to CBD we now know as CBG. And so all plants produce these strains. I am recently, I'm involved in a breeding project in Colorado with River Rock, and our goals are to produce, we're going to be working on 10 strains to begin with, and one of the things we want is very high individual cannabinoid levels. We want world record CBD, CBN, CBC, CBG, CBGA, THCA, I can go down the list, and to the exclusion of the other chemicals. And my single trait enhancement breeding process, which is actually a patentable process, is kind of exciting. Most cannabis is bred, standardized cannabis breeding is F1 to F7 hybridization. And usually at the F3 level, you're going to want a large amount of plants. And it's an effective way to, the breeders can select the proper mother plants that have exacting chemical compositions for specific medical usefulness. And but until now, nobody's really defined, and it's crazy, it's 2014, we really haven't defined the terms medical marijuana, or the difference between recreational cannabis, or medical cannabis strains, or, and these definitions are coming to light right now. Also, we're learning the mechanisms in the brain that, that cause the hungry, tired, paranoid, or confused effects, whether it be cannabis-induced or from psychosis or from other drugs that cause those types of effects. We're starting to learn that from studying terpenes, my theory is that, well, we do know that cannabis is a male and female plant. And that means post-angiospermic. Until about 1.3 million years ago, there was no male and female plants. There was no poisonous plants, no poisonous mushrooms. And all of a sudden, at the angiospermic period, these plants appear. And so that is when cannabis split into a male and female plant, and it started producing alkaloids. Now, these might be associated with a strong skunk odor and a very paranoid effect, or maybe a very confusing effect, so a predator would stay away from that, much the same as an amanita mushroom would create an alkaloid to defend itself from predators. So these modern day cannabis plants that our ancestors 12,000 years ago brought with them through the last ice age, we know that there was some for clothing and some for medicine, but none of them, they're all post-angiospermic, basically plants producing these noxious chemicals. Well, now we pretty much, I'm narrowing down this exact terpene that's allowing this suspension of, we believe it's either tetrahydroharmine or possibly muscarine. Those are two little talked about alkaloids we know that all cannabis plants produce in greater or lesser amounts during different stages of their life cycle. And that's another interesting thing I found about creating this Old Toby strain. What the Old Toby strain is different is I actually suffer from 25% short-term memory loss due to inflammation in the hippocampus. And so I found a strain of cannabis, probably the Perps. It was pretty clear-headed, and I got 3 seeds. I grew them. One was a hermaphrodite, seeded itself. One of the prodigy was real clear-headed. Thank God I took copies of everything. So I budded the clone. It was a hermaphrodite, seeded itself. One of those plants did not screw up my head at all. It was just absolutely. So I continued the process, and by the 4th generation, it actually seemed to help my memory. So now I'm at the 24th generation, and the lab test results, at 75 days flower, I'm over 2.5% CBG, CBGA, THCA, CBCA, THCVA, and a little bit of THC, and that's it. And there's 27 out of 51 cannabinoids and terpenes missing that are in every other strain. We've got lab tests to prove it. The patient trials are amazing because like me, it restores my memory, and other people with inflammation-related illnesses like edema, or even just allergies, or you could even have a reaction to a noxious alkaloid from another form of cannabis that might have. See, if these alkaloids, one of them makes you paranoid, and the other one makes you really confused. And we're going to find out exactly what they are. We're going to have the measuring sticks to detect them and name them and find out which terpenes are allowing or disallowing the suspension of these chemicals. And we're going to be able to remove those over here. And if for you recreationalists to take something that makes you paranoid or makes you confused, that's fine. Here you go. Bam. Get really, really confused or paranoid. The government will probably use it for spy stuff or CIAs or something. But then you've got left anti-inflammatory, munchies, and tiredness. Those are pretty much, so you take the stuff that makes you tired, maybe it's CBN, maybe that's it, maybe it's that simple. Take it over there. Treat insomnia now. No more deaths from sleeping pill overdoses. So now you got the munchies. People don't throw up, they get an appetite. Take that, put that over here. Okay, now we've got something that's for certain eating disorders. What do you have left? Non-psychoactive, pre-cannabinoid acids that fully activate the peripheral nervous system, the CB2 systems. That's ears, eyes, and hippocampus, which is short-term working memory, and the rest of your body. And this is, right now, it's being proven that CBG and CBGA is actually activating these peripheral nervous systems. Now, what does that mean to anyone that knows human physiology or medicine that realizes that means everyone's basically going to live to 100 and look 60 and have perfect vision, hearing, and memory, no more Alzheimer's, no more Parkinson's, no more MS, no more 100,000 amputations a year in the US alone from edema, lupus, just 100% more effective, at least, perfectly safe treatments. But this chemical factory is producing all at different stages in its life. Now, the seed has amino acids we need, and then it'll sprout, and we need those chemicals when the seed sprouts. And as soon as it turns green, now there's chlorophyll we need. See, there's all kinds of chemicals and nutrients that we need. There's, even at the third leaf set, the second week in flowering, glands are formed. Now these clear glands, it takes a couple of weeks before to get milky and THC and CBD to form. But during that high production acid window, that is where the ancient pre-angiospermic anecdotal archetypical plant genetic information pretty much lies in the plant. Like before 1.3 million years ago, we had this plant that was a hermaphrodite, right? There was no male and female plants. It didn't produce poisonous alkaloids. Probably this gigantic plant full of seeds, swarming with pollen, birds eating on it, bees eating on it. These ancient cannabis plants. And at 12 months flowering, they probably still didn't have CBD or THC. They were still just CBG, THCA, and they evolved. They split into male and female, and we know the rest of the story. If we can determine that this anti-inflammatory effect is a pre-angiospermic trait, and do a single trait enhancement on that over successive generations. I've got about 30 generations to go before the plant that will be 100% genetically removed from the original starting organism. It's a 3% chemical differential across the board every single generation when you seed a plant with its own pollen. I know it's a head full, but this is factual. When you hermaphrodite a plant and seed it with its own pollen, it mutates in every possible direction, 3%. So you take the one that's 3% more munchies, and the one that's 3% more tired, and the one that confuses you, and the one that, and you continue in 25 generations, it's 75% just hungry, no other effects, just tired, right? And I'm doing this successfully. Lab tests, patient testimonials to prove it. Very exciting news, means everything's changing for all of us. There's not going to be any more pipes or bong. People probably aren't going to grow their own weed. Why would you? We don't make our own aspirin. We don't grind up rose hips and make our own vitamin C. We probably should. I don't even brew my own beer as often as I should. I go buy it, you know. If you're going to go get the exact terpenes and cannabinoids exactly that you need in a patch, pill, suppository, topical, or inhaler, I mean, gods, That's it. There's really, what other delivery system? Eye drops, maybe, ear drops, I don't know. Shampoo. But anyway, any questions? It's all a lot. I probably bored everyone to death. My name is Matthew Gordon. I got hired at River Rock, 1,000 Plant Grow. It's kind of a big deal thing. I'm going to be in Skunk, 5 pages for 420 issue. I don't know, anybody can get in Skunk. But I got an album right now on Amazon that, what's this guy in the back over there? I'm a huge fan, he's a keyboard player, and the Matthew Gordon Old Toby album, it's pretty good if you like instrumental music, you know, for like in the background or whatever, I don't know, it's jazz. Anyway, so plug for the record. Any questions? Seriously, this is life-changing. Look at this guy over here. Oh, shit, I can sit over here. I'm not a public speaker. I'm a disabled patient.
Let's hear it for Matt. Another nerd in the room. You did good. So you did well. You plugged your album. No hard feelings. How about plugging your cannabis? Where can people try this? Where can they get a hold of it?
Well, I'm moving to Colorado to do the breeding project. I got my 15 plants, and I want to donate them to gardeners to grow really big and take a crap load of clones and grow it up really killer and give it to patients that need it. So if anybody could, I don't know, I can't bring them with me. I got my phone number. Phone number, I don't know, email. Oh yeah, you tried, what did you think of that? Did it get your memory better?
My head feels much better.
Thank you.
Yeah, we smoked a bowl, and as a testament to one of the things I don't like is smoking because I like to get stuff done, and so I'm not always able to do that. And while I had to get a few things done this afternoon and coordinating, I was still able to do it much clearer than if I would have just smoked anything else. So I thank you for it. It's awesome.
Wow, thanks. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I don't judge my own strain at all. I like it, it's relevant. So the fact that it has the lack of hungry, tired, confused, and paranoid, that's bred out. Now we have kind of a map of maybe some of those chemicals we kind of look for in other strains, or maybe do extractions, or maybe we can breed these strains just to that exact level. They reach that peak, maybe thousands of tiny little plants. Make a separate little extraction there, set it aside, do infusions at the end with the Simpson oil or whatever, make it more effectual. There's a number of directions we can go with this.
I just want to know, besides growing the plant, because personally I'm not capable of doing that, what do you want other people to do or what can they do to help? Because it seems like there's a lot of information you want to get at. You want more people to commit more resources to. So what else is needed?
I think a lot of the information that we're learning about this cannabis plant, the exact chemical compositions it produces, and the exact medications, specified medications we can make for special needs patients. I mean, who thought before we could make cannabis-based medications that are safe, that improve short-term memory? I mean, I went from dispensary to dispensary asking, hey, what do you got to help my memory? And really it's nothing. But now that we know that this plant is that diverse and that these CB2 activating the peripheral nervous system, apparently that's what's happening. We don't. Dr. C down in California is going to come out with some stuff. I'm not supposed to name names, but I guess there's a video online or something about CBG right now that for almost 2 years I've been contacting every single PhD and major scientists around the world online, and it's funny, they always answer my call and stuff, and so I like to think that I helped to get people thinking a little bit more about, and it was right around the time when they were doing pure CBD extractions and they weren't anti-inflammatory and they were kind of wondering why, and I kind of stepped in and told them about my strain and how it was improving hearing, vision, and memory, and super anti-inflammatory, especially people with edema, their swelling is just shrinking right away. And no known substance is that anti-inflammatory. So that's the really important, it's kind of a real easily provable claim too. So, actually I'm still disabled. So any questions? I didn't answer that question, did I? What can people do? Okay, see, there's proof. 100% mentally disabled guy just remembered something after because I took a hit of old Toby just now. What can other people do? This is what I say. Anybody that's doing anything with cannabis at all, absolutely anything. Are you growing it? Do you have a seed company, a pipe? Go ahead and do old Toby stuff. Grow it or clone it or I don't know what the hell, sell seeds of it. Promote the single trait enhancement process with other people. And spread the word that, you know, and it's, keep educated. Keep educated. One good question right here from this guy. Yeah, all right. And I'm boring the hell out of everyone. I don't think this is up. This is good.
Okay, Matt. Matt, people want to know where they can get it. People want to know where they can get it. About 4 months ago, Matt entrusted me with
They're gonna have to grow their own. I swear to God, there's weed clones available. We need the world's greatest growers to grow shitloads of this. Really good. Give it to special needs patients and just put my name on it. Don't switch to some crap that's here.
How do you get that clone?
I
have the clone.
Yeah, there's this guy right here. He's got clones. There's a couple people that have them.
You can look up John Dickinson.
I've got
.info. John Dickinson info, and I'll connect you up with. I've been trying to connect up with special needs people that have certain diseases, and I've sent several down, a few down to California and down to Oregon. So they're getting around, but easiest way is johndickinson.info and or john@johndickinson.info, and I'll hook you up with the clones.
We just got some clones coming up now from the plants he left with us. They're just coming to, we got some others, and we just did some cloning 2 days ago. I even got one of the clones out in the car. Should I bring it in, you think?
Yeah. Yeah, if you got one available. I have a friend who's really good at it.
Can't bring them with. Just to, like, I don't know, even like
Sorry.
whatever, and just,
I should bring you cloning.
to be grown
People are
up and
interested.
growers, really, and to be given to special needs patients. I don't know.
We're out of here.
That's one of the reasons I came here to plead that, hey, I got other plants, please grow them. You know, there's lab test results, and a little hash. There you go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't hear, I want you to, take a moment. We have some free plans, specifically